Night terrors. Nothing like that, I said, confidently shaking my head. I had nothing. My life has been healthy and without any such incident. You might not even have known, he pointed out calmly. It must have been about 10 years ago. Something protected you and you dodged the bullet. It's here, look, unmistakable. I leaned forward to look, as did everyone else, disbelieving but polite. And then suddenly, I gasped and snatched back my hand, cradling it protectively against my chest, gaping at him, stunned. I looked away, pulled up my hanging jaw and tried to control my shock. My heart was racing and my lungs were breathless in an old remembered way. Someone fanned me, someone offered me a glass of water, but it was a while before I could pull myself together even to take a sip. Everyone was worried and hovering and offering suggestions and wondering what had happened. It was complete disarray. He leant back in his chair and watched me smugly. You remember something, You believe now. Relax. Take deep breaths. It's past. It has no power to hurt you anymore. It was, indeed, about 10 years ago. Night terrors. Getting to the point where I was afraid to get into bed. I'd start out of bed, terrified out of my mind, and reach for Mr. Nibbles. I could feel his warm, furry body against mine, but I needed more reassurance. I'd cling to him. He'd open an eye and look at me as if to say, "Not again. There's nothing here, nothing there, nothing anywhere. Just go back to sleep and let me sleep too." I'd stroke him and feel reassured, and slip back under the covers again, heart and breath already steadying, and prepare to sleep soundly, I knew, till morning. This nonsense was strictly a once-a-night routine. When it was over, it was over. But always exactly the same in every identical detail. I'd be out with Mr. Nibbles for his last walk at night. Our usual route, his favorite. He'd trot along beside me, matching his short-legged pace to my long-legged one, speeding up and slowing down with me, pausing at the crossings, never needing a leash to guide him. He was a gentleman dog of great ancestral breeding, even if nobody but he knew the details. At exactly the same spot, near the park, in the bright circle of light from the street lamp, I'd see something in the street. Looked like a hit and run. A woman dressed like me, in sneakers, jeans and a hoodie, limbs sprawled unnaturally and flattened on the road. And a dog, uncannily like Mr. Nibbles, also tossed and crumpled nearby. Instantly, my heart and breath would flip into overdrive, and I'd feel as if my chest were about to explode, and at the same time, as if there wasn't enough air in the whole world. At this point, Mr. Nibbles would move in front of me and give a warning growl. He'd just block me with his body. No question of going forward to investigate, even if I could have plucked up the courage. I'd call a woman's distress hotline and describe the situation. They'd say they'd send someone over. In minutes, as the hotline claimed, help would arrive, 2 motorcycle cops. They'd see me standing to one side with Mr. Nibbles and ask where the aggressor was, so I'd explain that no one had attacked me. I'd point to the still figures in the street and show how Mr. Nibbles wasn't letting me go in to check. The woman cop would stay with me, making what sounded incongruously like polite conversation. Hell, here on a quiet city pavement, late at night, having called in a hit and run, this hardly seemed the time or the place. She'd informed me that her name was Nandi, and this was her first shift back on duty. She'd taken some time off because her father had passed away. I'd automatically offer my condolences, privately feeling this conversation was so unnecessary. But maybe she was trying to keep me calm or distracted. Her partner, a man, would move towards the prone figure, and just as he'd crouched to check on her, I'd wake up, heart pounding, gasping for breath, to realize I was in my own bedroom with Mr. Nibbles right beside me. Every blasted night, the same dream. I tried eating, not eating, eating different things. Drinking, not drinking, drinking different things. Watching a movie, reading a book. Having a hot bath, a cold bath. Exercising, meditating, praying, every possible combination Google offered. But nothing worked. I still started up terrified every night with my heart racing and gasping for air. This continued for weeks, and I'd reached the stage where I was telling myself, this is just a part of your sleep routine now. Ignore it. Treat it like getting up to go to the loo or to drink water. Just think it's normal, deprive it of its sting. Wasn't succeeding, but I was working on it. Then one evening, as I walked the last bit home from work, I stopped to pick up some stuff at the store. And as I came out, arms loaded, I bumped into someone coming in. "Oops," I said. "Oh, it's you, Officer Nandi. When did you get back?" Looking confused, she mumbled, I just rejoined today. This is my first shift." And I said, as was my nightly habit with her, "I'm so sorry about your father. My deepest condolences." And I walked on to my apartment, wondering why the woman had gone white as a sheet. It was only later that it struck me. Oh my gosh, that was the cop from my dreams. I saw her in real life. She's a real person. And she really rejoined work today, just like in my terror dreams. It took me a while to get my act together after that. I was properly shaken. Luckily, I was back in my kitchen by then, or the groceries would have fallen from my nerveless fingers and made an almighty mess. It was too much of a coincidence to accept calmly. I decided there and then that however much Mr. Nibbles liked that route, I was never going that way again, day or night. And I never did, as long as I lived in that flat. As for the night terrors, they stopped as abruptly as they'd started. I just slept through the night, never troubling Mr. Nibbles again with those ridiculous jumps and starts. Coming back to today, and we are at a friend's place. Her cousin was in from Delhi and she'd called some of us over for the evening. Turned out he was heavily into palmistry, and we were taking turns getting our fortune read, giggling over his prognostications. So it was my turn, and he studied my palm and turned my hand this way and that. He looked up briefly and caught my eye for a second. He looked down at my palm and announced, "You've been very fortunate. You have a serious death indication in your lifeline. A major crisis, or an accident, or some big disaster. It could have killed you, but it didn't. And now you have a long, unbroken lifeline, a good, long life to look forward to." As I said earlier, that's when I said to him, confidently shaking my head, "Nothing like that. I had nothing."